Hey there, and welcome. Have you ever really stopped to think about how a vacation gets made? I mean, from the person who clicks book for you to the guide showing you around a new city, there's a whole world of different businesses making it happen. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and break down exactly who does what in the travel industry.
Yeah, think about your last trip. Maybe you just booked a flight and a hotel, or maybe it was a full-on, all-inclusive package. It seems pretty simple from our end, doesn't it? But behind the scenes, there's this entire ecosystem of companies working together. So who are these players, and what's their specific job? Well, let's find out. Here's the game plan. First, we're going to look at the big picture of the whole travel landscape. Then we'll get to know the two main groups, the planners, those are the ones who design and sell the trips, and the providers, the folks who actually make the experience happen on the ground. And stick around, because at the end, I've got a super clear summary that's going to tie it all together for you.
All right, part one. Before we dive into the details, we need to establish some ground rules. See, while all these businesses help us travel, they are fundamentally different in what they do and what they're responsible for.
So here's the key takeaway. They all have a hand in your journey, but they are definitely not the same thing. And knowing the difference is absolutely crucial, especially if you're studying this for a course or an exam. So to make it super easy, we're going to compare them using 4 simple ideas.
To really get a handle on this, we're going to look at everything through these 4 lenses. First, how involved are they in your trip? Are they super hands-on or more in the background? What kind of experience do they offer? What's the level of risk involved, not just for you, but for the company too? And finally, what's their interaction with you, the customer, actually like? Keep these 4 points in your back pocket as we go.
Okay, let's jump into our first group, the planners. These are the businesses you probably think of first. You can think of them as the architects and the storefronts of the travel world. They're selling the dream.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. This slide perfectly shows the huge difference between a travel agency and a tour operator. On one hand, you have the travel agency, who's basically a matchmaker, an intermediary. They sell you a flight from one company and a hotel room from another. But the tour operator? They're the creator. They build the entire package from the ground up, bundling everything together into one single product for you. So let's put it simply. The travel agency is your expert advisor. They're amazing at helping you plan and book all the individual pieces of your trip. But, and this is key, they don't actually run the airline or own the hotel. A tour operator, though, they take it way further. They're the ones who literally design and organize the entire holiday from scratch. They're the ones making deals with hotels, chartering the buses, and creating that day-by-day itinerary that they then sell as a complete package. They are the builders of the vacation. Okay, so we've met the planners. Now it's time to meet the providers. These are the hands-on companies, the ones who are actually delivering the experiences you're paying for. They are the boots on the ground, or on the deck, or in the water. And we can really break these providers down into 3 main flavors based on the kind of experience they're offering. You can experience a place by sea with those incredible all-inclusive floating resorts. You can do it by land through expert-led local tours, or you can do it by challenge with some high adrenaline adventures. First up, cruise lines. And floating resorts is the perfect way to describe them. This really gets at that idea of control. They own the transportation, the hotel, the restaurants, the entertainment, literally everything. You are on their ship, following their route, and getting their service from the minute you step on board to the minute you leave. Next up, we have guided tour companies. Now, it's really important not to mix these up with tour operators. Guided tour companies aren't selling you a 2-week vacation. They're offering a very specific, much shorter experience. Think a 3-hour walking tour of an old city, a day trip to see some famous ruins, or a local cooking class. They give you a little slice of the destination, led by a local expert. And finally, we've got the adventure tourism providers. Their whole world is about physical challenges and high adrenaline fun. We're talking trekking in the mountains, whitewater rafting, scuba diving. Now, with these activities, the risk level obviously goes up. And because of that, there is an intense focus on specialized safety gear, highly trained instructors, and really solid safety plans. Whew, we have covered a lot of ground. So now for the final section, where we pull it all together. You can think of this next slide as your ultimate cheat sheet. It's perfect for studying or just getting it all straight in your head. Okay, this is the money slide. Let's walk through it. First, the travel agency. Their main job is just selling and advising. Their involvement is only in the planning stage, so their risk and their control are both low. Then the tour operator, they organize the entire trip, which lasts days or weeks. This gives them medium control and a little more risk. Now look at the cruise line. They operate the whole holiday. That means they have very high control, but they're so good at managing it that the risk stays low. The guided tour company, they just lead short excursions, so their control is kind of low to medium, like a tour operator but on a much smaller scale. And finally, the adventure provider. They're delivering those exciting activities, so they have medium control, but they have to manage a much higher level of risk. It's fascinating how it all connects, right? You know, this quote from our source material just says it all, doesn't it? The end goal is exactly the same: give you a great travel experience. But how they do it and what they provide are worlds apart. From the hands-off planning of an agency to the total control of a cruise line, each one plays a totally unique role in the journey. So, that brings us to the end, but I want to leave you with one final thought. Now that you know all this, when you start dreaming about your next journey, whether it's just chilling on a beach, learning something new, or going on a big adventure, which one of these business types would be the perfect fit for you and why? Something to think about. Thanks so much for tuning in.